Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Stocks and Theater podcast featuring me, Joe Simonelli, and the muse, Laurie Seacrest, who is a regular part of this broadcast, which makes it
For
very
some reason,
really classes it up, folks. So if you like the content, hey, like and subscribe, or don't like and subscribe. We'll show those algorithms because I'm not in this for the money, muse. Everything else I'm in for the money, but not this podcast.
we just like doing it.
And I don't even know how to make money from a podcast. So, but we did get ring the bell, muse. Ring the bell. I think we're up one subscriber.
Wow.
You are making a
Boy,
difference.
I am making
You are
such
making a difference.
huge
You're up
difference
to
in this
45.
podcast. Yes.
45 subscribers.
45. Yeah. 5 more and we'll be at 50, which is our
50
goal.
is our goal.
Yeah.
50 so if you like the muse, come on, subscribe, like it, don't like it, we don't care.
Yeah,
Enjoy the content.
We're going to continue to do it.
We're going to do it whether you like
Whether
it or
you
not.
watch or not.
We don't care.
Or not.
And guess what we have now? A real microphone.
See, yes.
We've invested.
Yes, we invested.
What did this cost us, muse?
Not much.
Oh, not much. Okay.
I did get a microphone
You did?
for us so that
Okay.
we don't keep fading in and out.
Can they hear this?
About as
Can they hear the bell from here now?
Maybe.
We'll find
have
out
to see on
the
playback.
broadcast.
It's about as
On the playback.
sophisticated as we're
This
going
is
to get.
this is it. What else could we have? Headphones? I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, anyway,
We could actually edit, but we don't edit. We just
Wait,
record it and then
edit,
send it out
edit.
so you get
I
what
don't
you
even know how to provide links. I'll talk about links, but
Yeah.
you go look them up yourself. For instance, let's start with should we get off the track a little bit, muse, and start. We'll get to the stocks, but start with the New York Yankees, muse, because we're
You
both.
want to do Yankees first?
Let's get it right off the bat.
Okay.
We're,
Yeah,
we're
I
big
think
fans.
we need to have a discussion about the New York Yankees because I
Okay.
have a little bit of a bone to pick with you. I grew
Moi.
up with you.
Moi.
I grew up in a Mets household.
Ooh.
Nobody's perfect.
Boo.
But my son Christopher, when he was a little boy, became a Yankees fan
I love that
and
kid.
took me along with him, and I've been a
For
die-hard
the
Yankee
ride.
fan ever since. And of course, was a fan during the '90s when they were
Derek
fabulous.
Jeter.
And,
Yes.
you know, Joe Torre was
A
the
newbie.
manager, and they were winning every year, and they were amazing.
On the other hand, I suffered through the Horace Clark years, folks. Look those up, folks.
Yeah,
The
he's
Horace
been a
Clark
longer
years.
fan than I have,
When Mel
so I
Stottlemyre was the
defer
only
to
decent
him.
player. Joe Pepitone.
But what
how
I
old am.
notice, and you know, they haven't won a World Series since 2009. But what I notice, Joe Simonelli,
Yeah.
is that when we watch the Yankees,
Mhm.
you're fine as long as they're winning. As
Yes.
soon as they lose a game or two, you start saying, "I'm not
Okay.
watching them anymore."
A game or two. As soon as they're losing in the game, I'm not watching anymore.
Yes, if they blow a lead,
Ouch.
then I'm not watching them anymore. And it brought up a discussion about if you're a Yankee fan,
Mhm.
a true Yankee fan,
You're a Yankee fan?
you don't desert them when things are going bad.
You don't?
No, you do, but I still support them, even though, yes,
Hmm.
I've been disappointed.
You watch. That last glimmer of hope, maybe they'll rally, right, Muse?
Always.
And
you,
how-
you don't give up until the end. It ain't over till it's over.
And how have we been watching since we don't belong to MLB, Muse, and we're not in New York
Well,
anymore?
I don't want to get anybody in trouble.
Well, there is a way to watch. I discovered through my YouTube variants some guy, I won't mention his name or his channel because I wouldn't know how to link it anyway. But I was just scrolling and I saw, live Yankee game. I said, this is interesting. So apparently some guy has a camera and he buys the cheapest seat he can, heads up into the right field stands all the way to the back. I think there must be a plug on the back wall because he plugs his stuff in. And hey, if you can take seeing the view from the first, second home plate in the pitcher, hey, you're gonna love this broadcast. You can't really broadcast, so you gotta pay attention yourself. But once in a while, he moves the camera on a fly ball. But hey, you're still watching as if you're in the stadium. He does have a little bit of
He's got a little chat going with his supporters, and he's entertaining.
Mostly they say, "What's the score?" Announce the score.
They usually want to know the count and the score because he doesn't always.
He's
tell you.
pontificating about his life in the Bronx. So anyway, there's that. And is that enough about the Yankees now, Muse?
Well, but explain to me how you consider yourself a true fan when you desert them so quickly.
I have another point to make. So
Okay.
talk for a second. I have to find a prop.
You have to
Which
find
I
a
should have
prop.
had ready. Yes, but I don't even know if I'll have
Okay.
All right.
No, I don't think you have one.
I do. Just talk for 1 second. It's in the shed. Talk for 1 second, Muse. It's in the shed.
All right.
Oh, we'll have to do this over. Talk about
I
the
have been
Yankees.
left on my own here. which is very unfortunate because I don't have much to say. But since we're talking about the Yankees, I consider myself a true Yankee fan, even though I kind of was late to the game. Again, grew up watching the Mets, always have been a baseball fan. Um, uh, Switched to the Yankees when my son Chris was in Little League, and he became a Yankee fan, and he was a huge Don Mattingly fan. So that's kind of when I came into it. But my feeling is if you've been a Yankee fan your whole life, you should support them even if they're not um, playing up to par. And, I can tie this into theater a little bit since this is supposed to be a theater and stock market podcast, and we're kind of going off the rails a little bit here. It's kind of like theater. Everybody thinks they know better. Everybody thinks they'll be a better actor, a better director than you, a better stage manager. And nobody really considers the fact that this is hard work. So being the manager of the New York Yankees isn't easy. Yes, do they get paid a lot of money? Yes, of course. But much like theater, it's really easy to, to kind of
It was here all the time. Use. I'm sorry.
to kind of uh, say you could do a better job when you're not. I tried to tie it into theater when everybody thinks that they'll be a better stage manager than you, or they can direct. I would have directed that differently. You don't know till you're doing it. So we can badmouth the manager, say he's making bad calls or wrong decisions, but we aren't actually doing the job. So you support your team. Sorry, I had to ramble, but he left.
We turned into a sports podcast.
And this was behind me. Into theater.
This was behind me all the time.
Oh,
here's the point I want to make.
What are you looking for?
Because I'm trying to make a point.
Okay.
Pretend this is a baseball, but this has to do about the instant replay, the new ABS. What do they call it? When the ball's in strikes.
Yes.
Now,
new this year.
Yeah. Now, if you watch tennis, you're familiar with the tennis replays where the tennis ball just skirts the edge of the line. It's in. So my point is, this new rule actually expands the strike. Now, listen to this, Muse. This is a little esoteric.
Okay.
The strike zone is going to be expanded both widthwise and horizontally.
Mm-hmm.
Horizontally and vertically. Shit. Up and down and across by the width. Pretend this is a baseball. Now, this is shorter. It is a pickleball, but a baseball is probably the width 3 inches.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the thing. Here's the edge. I'm using the edge of the screen as the edge of the strike zone. So if the ball's coming in and it just hits the edge of the screen right there, that's now a strike. Okay, that is a strike. Now, in the old days, the umpire would want to see that ball at least this much in the zone to even call it, or the entire ball in the strike zone to call that outside pitch a strike. So the pitcher is now getting this much more of the strike zone. Same up here. You're getting you're expanding that strike zone, in my opinion, because the computer's not going to lie. If you just clip it here, am I right, folks out there? This used to be the call because the umpire didn't want to call this because he's going to get an argument from the dugout. He didn't want to call this little sliver a strike. He wanted to call this a strike. Most of the ball in the strike zone. Ergo, the strike zone has been expanded by the width of the ball this way, and this way, and this way, and this way. Does that make sense, Muse? Because I try to explain it to people, they're just not getting it.
I don't know. What do you think? You think it's better or worse?
I don't know. I'm just making a point that the strike zone has been expanded.
Yeah, it certainly has.
I think that helps the pitcher more than the batter. But it does help the batter in the sense that they make a lot of low strike, especially on Judge.
So for Aaron Judge, it might be an asset.
Because he doesn't get those crazy low strikes.
Yeah.
And it's never wrong. But the point I was making, it does expand the strike zone because the ump wasn't going to give you that little sliver of a pitch in the old days. I don't think. I used to umpire Little League. I wanted it, most of that ball on the outside corner to call it a strike.
Right.
Because who wants to hit a manager? I didn't. Anyway, that's that.
Well, since this is a stock and theater podcast, and we've gone down
the baseball rabbit hole.
Rabbit hole.
I think it's time for stocks.
What's with stocks this week?
Oh, stocks are volatile because every time a tweet comes out from the Oval Office, which could be stock manipulation if you took the letter of the law, but we don't do politics here. Um, the market goes up and down. So it's all this market is all depends on the tweets and the war. So I
Mm.
had covered my short position last week, took a profit, and I did go back in and reestablish the short position use at around now. Let's remember 3 weeks before the war started, the talking war, I said, well, let me hedge myself. So I sold some of my loans, got into cash, bought the SDOW short the Dow. It was sitting at like 27, 28. I think I got in 28. Not everything, all the whole position under 30. And I just sat there waiting for the war to start. Why? Because they said there's going to be a war. So I said, okay, I believe you. So I sat there when nobody else wanted it in the 28, 29. War started, market crashed over the last month. I made money on it. I sold between 36 and 30. I think it hit 38 and change, almost 40. It hit 39 and change, almost 40. I sold most of my position between 36 and a half and 39, and by making a tidy profit news. And on that one big 1 day rally, up 1,000, and then a little more the next day,
Mhm.
it got down to 31 and like a quarter, and I got in. It's about 31.40 today on today's down day. So I only got in on a third of a position just to get my foot in the door. Because if the war does end, then I'm gonna have to sell that and take a small loss. But it's worth it to have the hedge. And if I could trade it 2 times during the war successfully, even better. We bank that money. You see how that
Okay.
works?
Whatever you
That's
say.
high finance. And I did buy a little bit more of Enphase, ENPH, which has not been performing well, but I like it long term because it's a pure battery play. So if oil is going to stay up, these are the guys who make the components for batteries for the the things I bought in cases of blackout use the power stations,
Yes.
the
Yes.
self-contained power that
Yes.
uses solar to recharge them.
Yes.
These guys make the components that are the only
Ah,
pure play and make it because
okay.
those companies, the Yak and one I like Jackery and those guys, they're not public companies, or I would have bought them.
Okay.
So I had to do the next best thing and be the manufacturer who supplies them with the parts was Enphase.
Got
And
it.
a little battery play, of course, on Epcel, fuel cell, which is just a battery play on that kind of technology,
Okay.
FCEL. So I bought a little more of that, and I bought a little more of Jumia, my Amazon of Africa play, because that pulled
Okay.
back. So I bought little positions in that. I think I was looking at Ben, and it got away from me, so I did not buy it back. I still have HRL, and that's about it for stocks. So let's see what happens. I'm hedged again, very small hedge, but I'm hedged. So if we go down, at least I'm making some money. If it
Okay.
rallies a little more, and the news is still, it's not a definite ceasefire. It's a maybe ceasefire, but the market rallies, I will probably buy a little bit more of the hedge to short the Dow SDOW to see what happens. Because I don't think we're out of the woods yet. The UMUs. And
I
plus, there's going to be a residual
don't
effect to the
think so.
economy. You close the straits even for a month. You got a
Mm.
residual effect where everything's going to go up, and chaos or ultra chaos. Let's take advantage of that chaos and make money, folks. Shall we? Okay. Now on to the stocks news. And what
You,
should we
no,
start
you
with today?
just did stocks.
I mean, on to the theater news.
And
And
what do you have
what do we have?
today for
What do you
theater?
have today? Then I'll tell you what I have.
I don't.
You don't?
No.
Well, I do have a slight theater rant news. Would you like to hear it?
Oh, rant away.
Because I've, being a playwright who never had a Broadway production, I was kind
Yes.
of wondering how the business of the Broadway theater news. And do you realize that 80%, you heard that right, folks, 80% of Broadway shows do not make money. Yes, I said do not make money. In other words, the investors lose money. Their game is they'll back 4 losers to get 1 Jersey Boys. See, and try and make it back that way.
Mhm.
I say, well, if you're going to lose money anyway, why not lose money on one of my plays? Or would you rather invest in a play like King Kong? Because that was a great idea, wasn't it, Muse? A giant ape on stage. I'd love to hear the pitch for that one, wouldn't you? Because that's going to make so much more money in the aftermarket. Your local church down the street is going to put a big guy in a big monkey suit and stage King Kong, right? No, he is not. I venture to say King Kong never got staged again. Okay? So was that a smart investment, folks? When I pitched that to you? No, it wasn't, was it?
No. And I think your new marketing strategy should be lose money with Joe Simonelli.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Lose money
Why
on a
not?
Simonelli play. You
Okay.
won't lose as much. And there'll be an aftermarket because the community theaters just love it, folks. So lose money with Simonelli is my new motto.
Yes.
And
Yes.
I have
I think.
24 plays for you to lose money on, including one musical,
Right.
romance.com.
Right.
Which brings us to Simonelli's stock of the week, play of the week. It's not stock of the week.
Okay.
The seldom staged, I think it was only twice, my first Avenue Playhouse, stocks and blondes. Because Muse, I'm not known for the door slammers.
Yeah.
This was like my fifth, this was right before romance.com. So fifth or sixth play. And this is a pure, what they call a door slammer, where, just lowbrow comedy. Allen and Marx Brothers. And it involves a brokerage firm where someone, a disgruntled client, there's a lot of subplots, comes in with a gun and holds them hostage to get our money back. So it's kind of fun. Stocks and blondes, big cast, door slammer.
Yep.
That's it.
Okay. What's next?
What else? Well, we have Is He Mental?
I thought you were dropping that.
No, I'm dropping Who Dies Next.
Okay.
That's kind of, we don't like that.
Thought that
we don't want to. Who dies? Who can? Yeah, we want everybody.
We want everybody to hang around as long as possible.
We can't do Is He Mental because I'm out of mentals. Johnny Depp. He married a mental.
Yes. Well, I think there's some mental there.
Yeah, there was some mental. I'm running out of mentals. Muse.
Yeah.
Can we do deceased mentals? Don Knotts, he wasn't mental.
I'm
just pulling names out of the air now, folks. Yeah. Okay, so that's it for Is He Mental. Now, how about your feature of the week?
Well, I also had changed the name of my feature of the week because I thought Buried or Breathing, although I love the alliteration, is a little crass as well. So I've now changed that to Are They Still With Us?
Much nicer. Much nicer tone.
Because we want them all.
Let's raise the whole level of this podcast. Yes.
Just class it up. We have a microphone now, so why not? So I actually have 3 for you.
3
this week, and
I don't know the answers. Folks.
One of them you're probably certain about.
Okay.
So, first one is he still with us, Billy D. Williams?
No, I believe he died.
No, he is still with us.
She always gives me the ones who are alive. I should just say they're all still alive. She never gives me a dead one. Go ahead, next.
He is 88.
Oh, you know why? Because I just heard him on the podcast. That's why.
Yeah, he's 88, Billy D. Williams.
Is Carrie Yules on the list? Because he's still alive.
No, he's not on my list. Well, not this week. Okay, the next one is probably easy for you, but Francis Ford Coppola.
Alive.
Alive and 87.
And kicking.
And alive and kicking.
Another Godfather sequel? We don't know.
I hope not. It would be a mistake.
Good.
And my last one, a favorite show of ours, Max Gale.
Alive.
From Barney Miller.
Alive.
He's one of the few that is still alive, and he is 83. And Hal Linden, of course, is still alive. But most of the rest of that cast is no longer with us.
Harris is gone.
Yeah. Great show, Goldie, though. Love that show.
I love Barney Miller. Yeah. Danny Arnold.
That was a fun show. So those are my people this week.
Now, the thing to ponder for next week, folks, in the Muses segment, will she actually ever try and trick me and give me a deceased person? Because all I got to do is keep saying alive. Right, Muse?
I might throw you a curve. I was going to add a baseball person this week.
Go ahead.
But I actually didn't write it down. So
you didn't?
Yeah, but I might.
Is he alive or dead?
I might add a baseball person since this seems to be segueing into stocks, theater, and baseball.
If we must.
I mean, baseball is always worth talking about.
That's universal. It is.
I know this is a football country, but I am not. I mean, football's fine.
Me a Jet fan, folks.
Football is fine. Have nothing against the sport, but I have always loved baseball.
And on that, we will sign off, Muse. We're just about 19 minutes.
Wow, we're longer than last week.
We want to keep it short. So, we want you to like it or not like it. We don't care.
Subscribe, don't subscribe.
Push the like button, even if you like the new mic.
Yeah, if you like the new mic.
Just for that.
Sure. You don't like the new mic? You don't want us to talk about baseball?
Let us know in the comments. Nobody comments.
We might still talk about
How do I know what to say? If nobody comments, they don't want to hear anything. You know,
we'll just keep doing what we want.
Keep ranting. Then we'll do what we want. Yeah.
And maybe at some point I'll hand this back over to Joe, since this really was his whole.
Maybe I'll hand it back to you. Podcast. No, I like having you here. I can do the back and forth banter with you. See.
All right. Thank you. If you watched this at all, thank you for watching.
Tell your friends.
Have a great week.
Bye bye.
See you next week.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.